Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Greg. Welcome to the Gourmet Woodsman. Today I'm going to show you how I made this Calabrese salami. Calabrese salamis come in either hot or mild. Today I made a mild one. Let me show you how I made this. I'll be mixing up some mold 600, making a couple of different sausages. They're both going to benefit from a protective layer of white mold, Penicillium nalgiavensis. So I'm going to add about a quarter teaspoon of my mold. To that, I'm going to add about a quarter cup fresh well water. If you don't have good clean water, make sure you use some distilled water. Chlorine will kill this mold, and well, that would be counterproductive. But I want to do this at least a good 8 hours before I want to use it. So I'm just going to set that aside. First thing I'm going to do for my Calabrese salami is get my fennel seeds and my black pepper toasting. Fennel is said to be sort of an optional ingredient in Calabrese salami, but it's also pretty common to find in it. So I'm going with it because I love fennel. Gonna put those in a cold dry pan, start them toasting. Next I'll get my salts ready. And today I'm using sea salt instead of a kosher salt. Really doesn't matter. Just don't use table salt. Don't use an iodized salt. It's just got to be pure salt and it's all good. And the other salt I'll be using is cure number 2. Because this salami is going to take a while. Certainly more than a month. Cure number 2 contains nitrites and nitrates. Very small amount of nitrate, but it needs it to convert. It slowly over time converts to nitrites, which is what reacts with the meat. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of dextrose to feed the starter culture we're about to make up. Now we start working on the flavor. And even though it's mild, I'm going to be using a little bit of hot Calabrian pepper. Just a little for a little zing. But I don't want to make this a spicy salami. I'm making another one right now that's going to be a lot spicier. And what I'm mostly going to be using here, not chopped onion. Oops, that's just the container. Sweet Calabrian pepper. This has quite a good flavor. Find it even works pretty well as a paprika substitute in some recipes. Now I'm going to take half of my toasted fennel and black pepper, add it back to my spices because I'm going to have half of this as whole seeds and whole peppercorns, and the other half I'm going to grind. I'll add the ground black pepper and fennel back into the spices. Now I've got my salt and spices ready for my mild Calabrese salami. My Calabrese salami is a pork salami, so I'm using lean pork and pork back fat. Belly fat is a great substitute for most sausages, but for salamis I would try to find back fat. It's going to give you a better finished product. I'm going to put that in the freezer while I get the rest of my ingredients together. These 61 millimeter protein lined casings, these are my favorites for salamis, so I'll be using these today. And these will fill about 2¼ pounds. And unfortunately, I'm using about just under 3 pounds, so I didn't really plan very well as far as the usage of casing goes, but it'll be all right. Just not the most efficient use of it. And then I'm just going to soak them in water. And they don't take that long, only maybe, half hour is plenty of time for these. I will be using T-SPX starter culture. It contains these bacteria, and they're going to do the hard work of creating lactic acid to lower the pH of this salami and render it safe to eat. So I've got a quarter teaspoon of that I put in here, and now I'm going to add a quarter cup of water. Let that sit on my counter for about 20 minutes, and we'll be rocking and rolling. For my Calabrese salami, I'll be grinding the meat and the fat separately. I want to grind this meat on a wide die, which I just used for another salami. I'm going to grind the fat with the smaller die. Just letting the grinder take what it will, not pushing it through with the plunger. Run an extra bit of meat back through to try to get that last bit out. Now I'm going to grind my fat through the smaller die. We have our finely ground fat, or more coarsely ground lean meat. I'm going to add my salt, spices. Going to add my starter culture. And I'm going to add just a small splash of red wine. Then we mix. This one's smelling really good. I really like that sweet Calabrian pepper. I mean, I like the hot one too. Don't get me wrong, I like spice. Man, I really like that sweet one. It's just got such good flavor. So check it out. I always show you when it's done. See, it's not furry yet. It's coming together. It's definitely getting some extraction. But after a little more mixing, well, it's starting to get a little furrier. And it's starting to lift my bowl a little bit. Can still throw it off my hand though. Not there yet. Really doesn't take long. Now you can see it's really holding the bowl up. It's hard to throw it off my hand. And it's starting to get that furry look where it has strands reaching out like that. Like that there, and like this here. We're good to go. Into the hopper for you. It's easier to buy these pre-tied, but I didn't, so what I'm gonna do is just make a bunch of pleats in this. Take my string, just make a simple butcher's knot, you know, regular knot, but you go through twice. Pull that tight while still holding my pleats. And I'm going to secure it with another little knot. Then I'm going to fold this over. And I'm going to make another knot here on top of that fold. And I'm just going to secure that with a second knot as well. Then I'm going to take that whole thing over to the far side. Make one last simple knot. Now I'm just going to load my Calabrese salami into my hopper. Try to push out any air pockets. Air pockets are kind of the enemy of salami. Well, first I'm going to push my farce to the end of the hopper. Then I'm going to lube up my horn. I know, it's always a little weird. And I'm going to take my casing, squeeze it on here, get these out of the way. Take my sterilized poker, that's cooled down, and just make a few holes for the air to come out of. And we're squeezing. We can get pretty tight. These don't really blow out. I mean, occasionally they do. I'm just holding pretty firm on this. I want to really pack that pretty tight. Don't want air pockets in there because bacteria really like air pockets. And we only want the bacteria that we put in there. On this side, I've tried to massage my meat to get any air pockets out. And then I'm just going to twist it really tight as I can anyway. And I see a few air pockets left, but those are okay. I'll show you what we do in a minute. I'm going to take my string, just go over and under, and do that again, over and under. And check it out. I'm going to take this thumb while still holding onto that. I'm going to grab that side, grab the other string on the other side, and I can pull that tight without letting go of my twist. I'm going to do another just over under to hold that tight. And I'm going to do the same knot I did before. Going to poke some holes, especially where I see these air pockets, but along the whole length of it anyway. And that's just going to help let any air escape, help it dry a little bit more, and help this casing adhere to the mix inside. This side feels a little looser, so I'm going to hang it by this side, and hopefully that will, the gravity will help even that out. We're not hanging it yet though. Take this little bit left in the hopper, push it out of there. It's kind of a big piece today because my casing was all the way full. It'll be all right. We'll do something with that. Just gonna twist that up tight. And that's how I'm going to test my pH. Now I'm just going to wrap this up. And I'm just going to leave that on my counter. It's going to take a while. This is a slow fermenter, but it should lower the pH without getting quite as tangy, which is kind of what I'm going for this one. I'm ready to check on my Calabrese Salami. See where it's at. It's been 36 hours since I started fermenting it. This one is just below 5. Looking good. In general, bacteria don't like acidic environments, which is why when we get our salami below 5.2, it becomes very inhospitable to those pathogens. Oh, the smell is delicious, and it's firmed up a lot. Alrighty, here's our beautiful Calabrese salami, our mild Calabrese salami. I'm gonna write that down. Calculate my target weight. This is gonna be about 40% weight loss. And then make a tag. My Calabrese salami. Been in here about 2.5 months. Closer to 3 months, but yeah, it's lost about 38% of its weight. Stays about 55 degrees in here and about 80% humidity. It goes up, it goes down, but averages 80%. So yeah, let's go taste this Calabrese salami. Well, let's check it out. It's been just shy of 3 months. It's down to 39% weight loss. Anything over 30 is okay, but 30 is pretty soft for a salami. I usually target more like 40, at least 35 to 40% weight loss. Let's give it a slice, see what it looks like inside. I'm really happy with how this is looking inside. It's got good fat definition, good bind with the casing, not too many air pockets going on. Same color throughout. There's not really a dry area around the outside. I'm feeling pretty great about this salami. Let's have a taste. I really like that sweet Calabrian pepper. It has almost a smoky taste to it. It's like smokier tasting than a smoky paprika, even though I don't think it's smoked. Well, I gotta say, this is right up there as far as one of my favorite salamis I've made. It's right behind the Finocchiona salami. That one's hands down my favorite. Everyone I feed that to loves it. But this is definitely a close second. Definitely be making that one again. If you like this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any more salami and sausage videos. Put some love into your food. Peace.